It all kind of merges together in these foodborne preferences that people have. I don't know if it's really true, but they say that you can actually break out of your shell. You just have to give yourself a try, get outside your comfort zone.
Being a picky eater myself, can I say this? That no, you cannot mix two flavors in the same plate. You can't have a hamburger and a sabji. It just doesn't make it.
It turns out that the two most common flavors that picky eaters fuss about are bitter and sour. So you'd be in good company. Generally, people who are picky eaters don't like either of those two things more strongly than anything else.
Moving on, folks, this is from Time magazine, and you would always think that it's the men who are not committed in the marriage. It is really not true lately. Lately, they have found out, since women have gotten their independence, they have gotten higher education, they have more money, now they don't want to get married to you. You know, I mean, that's what it amounts. Men are still wanting to write no prenup. But woman will not marry you if she has a little bit of money without a prenup. I mean, it's amazing to find out that the universities have gotten into this research and they've come up. Men want to commit themselves as the women who don't.
I think actually there might be a good basis for this, because if you think about it, you know, if men want to procreate, they need a woman. They can't do it all on their own, right? Yeah. Whereas women, you know, even in women-female relationships, they're actually physically able to have a child.
So, without having a mate. Yeah, I understand that.
So I think that, you know, in some ways I can see the pattern shifting the other way, although I think most of the women in this area will tell you that they're not experiencing what this article is saying, although I would tend to believe that that is a growing trend.
There are more single women in the metro area than anywhere else, and they're all educated folks, and then most of them have money.
Which means the men got to try harder.
Or bring more.
Or bring more to the table, yes. Well, folks, it is a new year, and there are always some new words that get joined into our vernacular as new trends and things emerge. These were a few that came out of Psychology Today that were worth a mention because they're funny. Here's one. iNoia. iNoia is the fear that you should have waited one more generation before buying your next Apple product. Here's another one.
By the way, I'm not thinking of buying iPad, the new one that's coming out in June. I will wait one more generation.
Good, good. I would recommend that. Photolation. Delight that your date looks exactly like his or her profile picture.
That's true.
So often true. Here's one. Slothmorse. This is guilt about skipping your yoga class to go out for drinks. And then here's the last one.
Nothing wrong with that if you're doing yoga regularly.
Well, you know, I guess that most of us are dealing with these dilemmas on a daily basis. And here's my favorite last one. This is called Perlexzon. Perlexzon is confusion over whether to order an extra book from Amazon.com so that you can go over the $25 minimum to be eligible for free Super Saver savings. How often is that true, that just to get to that mark, to get the free savings, free shipping, you'll buy that extra thing that you really don't need?
Now, what kind of a doctor they got to go to see if they have that kind of...
Let me see if I can find that in here.
You might have heard of this. The story's name is Where's the Beef? Oh, basically, one of the patrons is suing Taco Bell because they believe that when they say it's beef taco, it's not beef taco.
Oh, wait,
it's only 35% beef in there.
Do I want to know what the 65% is?
You don't want to know, but I can read it to you.
I think. Go ahead and tell us.
35% is a lawsuit claim. The USDA informal ruling, they believe there's 40% beef in there. 88% of it is beef according to Taco Bell, so they are countersuing. But in the meantime, let me read you some of the ingredients that are there. You got beef, you got water, you got seasoning, you got isolated oat product, salt, chili pepper, onion powder, tomato powder, oats, wheat, soy lecithin, sugar spices, maltodextrin, soybean oil, garlic powder, I'm not even gone through half the list, you know. I mean, it's amazing what is in the food these days.
You know, it just makes you wonder, as you're consuming these foods, you have no idea what you're actually ingesting and what effect it's having on your body. I mean, you would think that Taco Bell has enough competition now between Baja Fresh and Chipotle, among so many other fast food chains, all of whom are promoting nutrition, to not be stuck at the bottom of that list with a lawsuit that's just, I mean, if they're having trouble, they're only going to have more trouble after a story like this.
That's why they're saying they have oat in there. They have wheat in there.
It's a nutritional taco. Well, last but not least, I wanted to share my favorite topic with you. Sarah Palin is back in the news this time.
Mama Grizzly.
She is filing paperwork to trademark her name, not just her name, but her daughter's name, Bristol Palin, because she wants to protect her brand. She is a one-woman industry, and she doesn't want her name being used or misused by other people to represent her. Actually, she's not the first one to do this. Billy Joel did it many, many years ago, and now people are wondering that with her doing this, will there be many more people that jump on the bandwagon to do this? And, you know, there's really nothing stopping even you or I from trademarking our names.
I don't know about that, but I want to tell you, Mr. Snyder of Redskins would not want you to show the pictures of Redskins on any show without his permission. And there are many people like that.
Well, the president has a legitimate concern here, too. President Obama, you know, the White House has to worry about his image and name being used or misused. In fact, it happened in Times Square. A garment company tried to use his name, and that billboard had to come down. So there are legal reasons to want to do this. I just think it's funny for Ms. Sarah Palin to